Hello world, and welcome to Elevated Intuition. Today we are looking at the full moon. This is happening on November 19th. This is the Beaver full moon, which is the Beaver Moon. It's the name given to the full moon in November. And this particular full moon is a full moon in Taurus. So I just wanted to get this card out to show you as an example of what that might mean for you. And then we're going to pull some cards about the full moon and being in Taurus for each sign. So your dreams need a practical plan. It's not enough to just like wish your dreams and have them just, instantly come true. I mean, I think we all would love to win the lottery, but even that we have to have a plan about, right? You can't win the lottery if you don't play. You need to put some steps forward to whatever goal that you are going towards. So the other interesting things about this full moon is it is a partial eclipse. So while, full moons are, a time of a lot of energy, it's very interesting energy, like the moon controls, our emotions. It controls like the ebb and flow of water as well. And so that's why it can control our emotions. Because this is a partial eclipse, like that energy can be more intense and then for longer periods of time. Usually we can use the full moon energy for a couple of days before and after to manifest or release. Usually releasing is best with the full moon energy, but whatever intention you are putting towards this. And this, with an eclipse though, it can that energy can last longer. So be very intentional with your intentions, like think things through, because this can last for a long time. The other interesting thing about this particular full moon is it's a full moon in Taurus and the sun is in Scorpio. Those are now opposing energies because when we have a full moon, the sun is opposite of the moon. But what's also interesting about that combination is this is the first of several eclipses that occur between Taurus and Scorpio. And this kind of kicks off the next 2 years where most of the eclipses will be in either Taurus or Scorpio. So we really need to think about that. And I would invite you to write down like your feelings or what's going on at this time. This is the first eclipse in Taurus that has happened since 2014. And then now we're going to have a series of them. And then we've got like Taurus and Scorpio opposed. So that is really interesting because Scorpio deals with our, is a very emotional sign. It's a water sign. It deals with our shadow self, our private world. And then we've got Taurus over here where Taurus is very practical. It's an earth sign. Grounding is really important. And we have heightened senses. So just think about those few things as we go into your reading. And let's go ahead and do our reading now for each sign. Hello Libra, so here are your cards for this full moon in Taurus reading, and I'm just taking a look at them. What's really interesting to me is I feel like this, it's from the same deck here with the Nine of Wands reversed and the Five of Swords. Feels like there is some conflict for you coming to an end, that this full moon is a perfect time to kind of like put your swords down and really kind of work together with other people. I feel like we have the seven. I'll go through the cards that we have here. We've got the Seven of Cups, we've got the Fool, we've got Judgment, we've got the Nine of Wands reversed, and we've got the Five of Swords. Both of these cards, the Nine of Wands and the Five of Swords, indicate some sort of conflict or holding your ground. The Nine of Wands reversed kind of means that you're a little bit over it though. Like you have been standing here holding your ground for a long time. It's really funny because when I was shuffling for you, like I just shuffled the decks and then I was going to pull cards, but these cards came out first, and I have been pulling these first. So I feel like for you, Libra, that this is actually like the beginning of your reading is with this deck. Even though that wasn't my intention, but it's Spirit's intention, right? So we got to go with what Spirit is giving us. And I feel like, you know, full moons are a great time to release. This full moon being an eclipse and then having implications between eclipses going between Scorpio and Taurus for the next 2 years. And then Scorpio and Taurus are like in tension right now with the sun being in Scorpio and the moon being in Taurus. It feels like this could be like, yeah, long-standing energy, because with the Fool and Judgment together, I mean, I love these two together. I love that they're both major arcana. I love that we're talking about releasing negative tension, negative energies between you and your relationships with other people. And it feels like there's a lot of fresh energy coming in for you. In fact, I'm just going to move this around because I feel like this is how it should read. That you have been kind of beat down, Libra. You've been holding your ground and you felt like you've needed to fight for whatever ground that you have. And I feel like there's other choices for you than that. That people that you feel like are in conflict. Like, this is a really interesting Five of Swords for me, because Five of Swords is kind of like you are in conflict with other people and you win the battle, but you lose the war. Why? Because those people who would be partners with you, who would help you, who, you know, you're just getting like overly competitive with them, and then they don't want to cooperate with you going forward. But I feel like you're seeing that, and you're like, you know, in families, sometimes we, you know, lose the bigger picture. I feel like, especially with Judgment over here, it is like the bigger picture is opening up. You start seeing the first rays of this bigger picture with, wait a second, I've got different choices. Like, I don't have to engage, or I don't have to see somebody with a difference of opinion than me as my enemy. I don't have to fight with my family. Like, we can choose love. We can agree to disagree. We're not maybe going to be on the same page as each other on this one topic, but overall, we really can work together to build something great. You know, we talk about diversity a lot. Like, there's a lot of conversations about diversity. And one aspect of that is diversity of opinions. Diversity of, like, if everybody held the same opinion, if we all thought the same, we would be ants or bees, right? Because that is a society of organisms that think the same, they do the same, they are the exact same. But our advantage as humans are that we have different thoughts than another human. And we can leverage that to move us up to another level. We can leverage that, for instance, you know, the spiritual community talks about going from the third dimension to the fifth dimension. And I, you know, I really see this Judgment card as doing that. In this particular card, you can see this would be a resurrection here, where either these people are coming out of their graves and hearing the call of Archangel Gabriel. It can also represent that, you know, their souls are being judged to see if they go into, you know, if they've lived a great life. I feel like there is an element of karma here sometimes when we see Judgment, but I feel like it really is a shift. It is a change in the way that you're thinking, and it is really refreshing. It puts you on a new path, and you don't feel like you are kind of bogged down in this confrontation over here. It feels really refreshing. So what's important for you for this full moon, and then really kind of the next 2 years, I'm going to be taking stock of what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, what my goals are, spiritually, emotionally, physically, all of those things. and kind of seeing how they evolve over the next 2 years, because I feel like there's a big evolution for you, Libra, and I feel like a lot of that is letting go of confrontation, letting go of things that are holding you back. Because the Nine of Wands, you can see this here is she's got the 8 wands here. She's holding the 9th. Usually she looks battered and bruised. Usually she looks like she has been in a fight, because she has like drawn this line in the sand that I'm not, I'm holding this position. I'm not moving. I'm staying right here. But again, she's reversed, right? So we are moving. It's like, okay, wait a second. Why am I defending this hill right now? Why am I die? What do they call that expression? Is like, do you really want to die on this hill? Do you really want to defend this position? They say that a lot in politics, because we do get like this idea, or whatever we get in with like a specific political party, and it's really ridiculous to me, because two political parties, right? How can just two stances on any given in any given subject, one is right and one is wrong? And I feel like, and that's just like a really ridiculous thing to think of, but we've kind of all been hurtled into like, okay, you're in this camp or you're in this camp, and they're wrong on everything that they say, and they're wrong on everything that they say. But it really is a much more complex thing than that. Life is way, way more complex than that. And no politician can represent you 100%, but yet we have these arguments. I'm just bringing politics up because I'm pretty sure that we all have an example of politics where we have been in conflict with each other. But it's kind of like really digging into whatever the subject is that you're talking about, and understanding that there are multiple sides. Like a sword, double-edged sword usually comes up a lot when I'm thinking of this, that there, even though there's one side, there's two sides to this sword, but there's multiple swords. Like there is way, and there should be more room for different things. So not saying that your thing is absolutely related to politics. It could be, that could be one of the things that we're talking about, but it certainly is something that is, I'm using that as an example because it's an opinion that's really, that you have been defending for a long time. And I feel like, you're understanding that it's not a black and white issue. It's not a yes or no. It's not a win or lose. It's not that there's multiple shades here, that there's a whole expansive world, and there's a whole expansive list of opinions. Like pretty much like everybody has their own point of view and their own opinion, and that doesn't make you right and them wrong, or vice versa. It just means that it's great because you're opening yourself up, and I feel like when you have that energy, like the people around you kind of open themselves up as well, and that really leading with love and leading with freedom. Freedom is really, really important here. I feel like in the next 2 years, it's just going to be like free. Like you can just have your opinion and not worry that everybody else agrees with you. And that doesn't even mean that it could be politics, but it could be other opinions. And it just feels like there's this huge shift, this huge evolution for you, Libra. And I'm just throwing that out there to get your creative juices flowing. Like if you didn't understand what I was talking about, but I think you have an idea of evolving opinions and evolving options, that there are options, and maybe in this 7 of Cups, we have a ton of options. And would you choose the dragon? Would you choose the castle? I suppose this is a magic mushroom, and maybe the serpent is not a choice that you would make, but somebody else would make that choice, because to them, they're not seeing that as a serpent. They're seeing that as like change, or they're seeing that as a higher understanding of something else. So there are tons of reasons why people do what they do and see the world the way that they see it. And you don't have to be tied to theirs. You don't even have to be tied to your own opinion. And I feel like it's going to be like a huge weight once you start seeing like all of these options that are open for you, because both the Fool and the Judgment card, like, it just feels like, I mean, look, they're naked. And to me, there is a certain level of freedom and openness in that. Like, you're just stripped away of things that, you know, no longer matter and no longer are, you know, holding you back. So beautiful, Libra. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next reading.